Folks, what's going on? Welcome to a new episode of The Punch-In. This is Arden hosting it here for another lovely edition of the show, man, where we have the chance to just talk with any and everybody about their creative exploits, their passions, and anytime we get to meet with somebody from the county, from the crib, we gotta have these talks, we gotta have these conversations. And our guest for today, what is very unique about you is the fact that a lot of guests, a lot of people I meet, it's like I can remember distinctly when I had the chance to meet them. Mm-hmm. I don't with you.
Yeah, I don't remember, yeah.
I remember once I met you, it became very frequent to see you. Mm-hmm. Like we would end up being at the same places.
It's odd, bro.
You would just come around and I'm like, all right, like what's up? And it first starts with like, yeah, oh yeah, what up, bro? Yeah, I remember you. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
And then the more I got to know you, I was like, yo, this dude is a stand-up dude.
Thank you, bro.
Any chance I get to connect further with a fellow creative, that's always great.
Yes, sir.
And really over the last year, I've just been very impressed with your work, man.
Thank you.
Whether it's with, Square One or whether it's with the West Cheddar page and everything else, because you have a style, bro, and it's not easy to do. You have a style that I know off the rip, like, that's you. And you're in a position, man, you're in a field really that is just growing more and more
content
every day.
Yeah.
So I got my man Jihad on the show.
My brother.
Fellow brother from Westchester, man. You already know the vibes with this.
Sir,
this is going to be a great convo because this is going to be, for this series, our first sit down with a photographer / videographer. Mm-hmm. And I got to say off the rip, because we're going to talk about this in a little bit.
Yeah.
But you guys are the new rock stars of this media thing, man.
No,
I got to say,
yeah.
I work a lot of events.
Yeah.
They treat y'all a lot better than they treat me.
Right.
They treat y'all a lot better than they treat me.
Yeah.
Than this little old writer and podcaster. I see it.
It's something powerful. It's something powerful about having a camera in your hands. You moving right through. People are letting you through.
No,
I got a camera.
You're not.
Media. I need to get to the back or whatever.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. Come on, on through. You need to get to the front. Yes.
Yes.
And that's gonna be something we're gonna talk about in a bit more, man. Because again, I think it's such a crazy, but it's also such an awesome thing to do because people are starting to understand that there's so many levels to this media thing.
Yeah.
To the content creating. But before we get into that, man, gotta ask, how are you feeling these days, man? Because you've been doing a lot.
Yeah.
And everything's been looking great.
Thank you.
How are you feeling these days?
I'm feeling great, bro. We just we solidified the production company, so
Nice.
Set in Stone LLC'd up, trademarked up. So that was huge. Getting a logo, getting branding in, so people could see us and be like, okay, this is what they're a part of. This is their stamp. But we just growing. We're trying to get into different markets and create that stamp so people know what Square One Productions is and build on it. But we great, man. We working. We moving. It's amazing.
It seems like it. It seems like it. And I think for me, seeing it, I can tell because it's like more and more with certain work that you're doing these days. It's more and more there's a switch.
Yeah,
it's different. It's coming more versatile. It's coming more dynamic. You're working with new faces now.
Right.
And it's coming in a more organic way,
Yeah, it's like when we started. Well, when I started out, I was working with just artists mainly. Mm-hmm. So it was a lot of behind the scene BTS stuff. I wasn't as comfortable doing video. I had done photo in college. I did photography in high school. So I was comfortable in that lane. But switching over to video was a whole new realm. It's different. So you have to portray something for the person you're working with. You want them to get the best vision, the vision that they want, alongside showing your talent, showing what you particularly like to do, your perspective. So it's always that battle with that, but we're building and we're getting better at it. Like I see the growth. I can see it myself. In quality and the editing process and the feedback we get from people that just see our work, you know what I mean? And I tend to look at data a lot, to see what works. So like you said, like you can see how, the switch, it's just me analyzing, putting something out, watching the data, watching how it works, watching how people share it, the feedback.
Big.
To be able to have that, because media back in the day, they didn't have that. They just put something out and hope for the best.
Yeah.
For us to be able to have something where I could put it out, analyze it, look at it and be like, okay, this didn't do as well as this video. Why? What are the questions? Did I not drive the people to, so being able to ask those questions and really be able to look at the data and have the answer right there, like, okay, this is why, okay, boom, is a beautiful thing. So yeah, man, it's all growth, and it's like you said, we're the new rock stars. So this is a new thing. We don't know where this is gonna go in the next 5 years. We just going with the flow and putting our ideas out there.
Yeah, man. And being somebody that's a Westchester kid, which town did you spend most of your years in?
Mount Vernon, for sure.
Mount Vernon, okay.
Yeah, so I lived in Mount Vernon. I grew up in Mount Vernon, and I always went to school in Yonkers. Okay. So I was one of those kids. I was one of those kids. Yeah, I was one of those kids.
You had to keep it on the low where you lived.
Yeah, grandma.
That's a fact.
I had grandma address in Yonkers, and I had gotten to like a magnet school out there called Pearls. Okay. People know about Pearls, but I got into that school. So my mom was like, "Nah, you staying in that school." Like, we used to live in Yonkers. She was like, "We moving? You staying there though?" So we used grandma address, and we kept it on the low. And I stayed out there, but I think that created that dynamic for me that I think people don't understand, like, how do you know so many people within the 9, creating those relationships. This is before I even picked up a camera. It's just living in Mount Vernon, going to school in Yonkers, knowing all those kids in Yonkers from all those different schools, which is huge, you know what I mean?
Yonkers public school. I grew up in Yonkers, like the first 12 years. Like,
so
it's so many schools there.
It's so many schools, it's so many people.
One of the biggest cities too in the state.
And having that connection, and also being the kid that stood out a little bit because I had dreads, I just didn't look like everybody else. So it's like, we know who Jihad is. But after school, everybody going to hang out, like in Yonkers or whatever. And I'm like, I got to go back to Mount Vernon. So now I'm going back to Mount Vernon, and then I'm going to play ball at the courts in Mount Vernon and just meeting. That's how I met people out there, just playing ball. And, my family was from out there. So having cousins, having family, of course, pulling up on them. But creating those relationships in those different towns, I didn't know that, everything would come back full circle, but that's why everything come back to square one, you know what I'm saying? We, square one. So
that's a great point right there, just to put it. Because that's the thing too about Westchester as well, which is there's so many places here, but we're all connected. Right. And it really only just takes one person, it takes one experience just to really have that. For me, I could relate to that as well, because again, like I grew up in Yonkers for like the first 12 years of my life. Like I grew up right on the south side, like the Slow Mouse Projects near Getty Square and Riverdale and all that. And then even I lived out here in their shell for 3 years. It was the same thing. The amount of people you meet, playing ball at Lincoln Park, you go to school here, still dabble in Yonkers, and still maintaining those roots even with moving to White Plains. Like over 10 years ago, you don't really lose those connections. It's you just, folks know you.
Thank God for social media. That's how we can keep those connections with these people. It's like, I see what you're doing. You see people all the time and you haven't seen in years, and they're like, yo, I'm keeping up with you though. Like I see, I see the movement. I see what you're doing. And my goal is to see how I can get involved with whatever it is you're doing. We have a media company. We can drive some people over here. We can make something happen for you. So that's always the goal. And we're blessed to live in New York. I say that all the time.
100%.
Because we got cameras, and if I lived in Cleveland or Idaho right now or in the middle of nowhere, I wouldn't have anyone to shoot. I hate being, I don't really like being in front of the camera. I'm doing this for Foresight, I'm doing it for my people. But if I didn't have anybody to shoot, what would I shoot? So I got to shout out to, all the artists out here and everybody that's doing their thing, because they give us a platform to have content, to shoot something. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a give, it's a give and take type of situation. It's a win-win.
What were some of your earliest memories in doing anything with visuals?
Earliest memories with visuals was probably like middle school, but I'd say like just analyzing my family, because I have a big family on my father's side, and my grandfather was kind of like the photographer, videographer, I guess, in the family. So if we have a cookout, we have any type of event like that, he's taking the pictures, he's doing the videos, and I could still watch, he's not here, RP, but to be able to still look at that content and get that feeling from it, it was something about that nostalgic feeling, like, wow, like, all of this was going on at this time. Look at my grandma, look at my auntie, like all of those little things. But these pictures are timeless. These videos are timeless. They hold a certain place, in somebody's heart. So feeling that, seeing that, knowing that, I was like, yo, I want to be a part of something like, you know, like doing something like that. And going to New Rochelle High School was a blessing because you meet so many people from just a vast dynamic, like
school, bro.
Just huge. I met so many walks of life from different backgrounds, and just learning so much about it, and being able to just shoot with people, you know, so many creative people, talented people. I'm like, yo, I'm not asking for anything. I just want to pull up and shoot. That's how it started, you know, like I just want to pull up and shoot. And that's what I would do. And then I went to college for journalism.
Where did you go to school?
Morrisville State, upstate New York. And I did leave school, but I left school because I had opportunities back home, and I felt like just being in upstate New York, like with my cameras, with my equipment and stuff like that, wasn't really helping me. Just
it's like what you said about the, you know, the Cleveland, Idaho points. Like, who am I shooting?
That's where I was.
How can I work? You know?
I can't really utilize anything out here as far as branding myself. Like I wasn't able to, you know, make those connections that I was able to make back in the city. But I did work for the newspaper.
Nice.
I did work for the radio station. I had a radio set up there.
Nice.
For like an hour, like, you know, throughout the week and stuff like that. And I worked for the newspaper. So working for the newspaper, they had me shoot different college teams. So they had me shoot volleyball team, basketball team, football team.
And that's valuable experience.
Valuable experience, but also
experience.
Great connections. You know, being a freshman, not knowing anybody at school, you already met the jocks and all the people that play all the sport, the top sports at your school. So they like, nah, fuck with G. Like G, you know, G has all the content. He has all my picks. Like, of course, let him into the party. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Those could be your first friends, for real.
So just making those type of connections were dope. But like I said, once again, just being blessed to be in this state around these type of creative people, just it helps full circle. Like, you know, I don't have to outsource everything. Kind of, you know, it just.
Do you remember the first camera you got?
That camera right there.
Really,
bro?
We're using it.
Like,
that's
people,
crazy.
Yeah, bro. People don't.
How old is that camera?
7 years, 8 years now, maybe. It might be 8 or 7 years old. New specs, new lenses, new things. You know, of course.
That's
but
crazy.
Same build, same mold, same body, and I just, you know, tweaked it a little bit, made a little upgrades and stuff like that. Shout out to my aunt who bought it for me. But
is that old?
It's that old.
What's normally like the average lifespan of a camera?
I can't even. Nah, I think cameras.
Yeah, we got DJ in the cut. He's chilling. Shout out DJ in the cut with us.
Yeah.
Because I honestly thought like it's probably short. I thought like at maximum you probably get like a few years out of it before you got to switch it up.
I mean, I have some of my grandfather's cameras that still work. I have some of my uncle's cameras that still work.
I'm really,
you know what I mean?
Blown by that.
Which if I take care of that camera, the lens doesn't break, the screen doesn't break, I'm good. Like I said, people would never imagine that I shoot with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they would never even think that I shoot with something like that. But you can shoot with anything. Impressive. It's all about your perspective and what you bring to the table. Me and Gianni had a conversation like that before. In his DM, I saw him posting something about that. If we're all at a show with an artist and there's 8 videographers on stage, why should I go home and make a recap when I know these other 7 dudes are gonna go home and make a recap of the same shit I just saw? It's because your perspective was different, your angle was different, the way you edit is different, the way all your viewers are different from those people's viewers. You don't know what you're gonna get out of recapping that person's video. You get what I'm saying? You don't know what's gonna come out of it. Somebody could contact you like, yo, bro, I saw your thing. Somebody sent it to me. It happens to me all the time.
Side note, was this conversation with Gianni recent?
It was. I feel like
I would say because Gianni's been trying to get in this inspirational bag recently. I'm seeing on his story, like, he got the color backgrounds, got 4 or 5 story posts. I'm like, that's my man, so I'm like, I'm rolling.
You're rolling.
I'm rolling. I like how you open it up now. I was like, that's good. I'm like, he never did that. I was like, that's good, man.
It's super dope, but you know what's really cool about it? Like, the cool thing is, like, I didn't know Gianni, right? I didn't know him that well at all. Like, I met him a couple times just on the fly, like how me and you connected. But through his content, I could see what type of person he was. And that's what's beautiful about being in this business. If I watch his video, if I watch Matt's video, if I watch DJ's video, they're all gonna be different. They can be shooting the same thing. They're all gonna be different. And they have a mold, you know what I mean? They have their style that they're gonna go with every single time. Like how you said, you see my video, you know it's me. If I see a Gianni video, I know it's him. You know what I'm saying? So it's all just beautiful, man. Like, but being able to see a personality within visual is crazy. You know, I can tell he has that witty, you know, comical little, you know.
Yeah, he just keeps it on the low.
Yeah, he keeps it on the
he keeps it on
super low, but I peep it.
He blushes when we like compliment him, like give him some airtime. Yeah. He's my man, so we gotta do it. But you actually led me into this next topic we got.
Okay.
Because you basically touched on it again, it's finding your voice and your image, you know, and that analogy you used was such a beautiful analogy because I go to the same thing, you know, when I'm not doing music media, I do a lot of sports media.
Right.
So it's the same thing I go through, like there's dozens upon dozens of us at this game. And it's like, all right, there is this quote unquote daunting task of like, how do you stand out from everybody else with this recap, with this interview, or with this piece of content? And then it comes down to, again, what you said, like, I had a different perspective. I have a different seat. My intentions coming into it is different. And for a while, I go through that again. We're gonna go into this as well after we really touch on it.
Yeah.
As photographers, videographers, man, because there's so many of you out there.
So many, bro. There's
so many of you out there. And even though I jokingly said it about being treated less than y'all, it's technically true. Like I see what they do for y'all to make sure y'all get everything right.
Yeah, the way they treat us.
How did you, over the years, just find what is that signature G imagery?
Okay, so...
Because me and you, by the way, sorry to cut you off.
No, you good.
I'm trying to think, it might have been a month or two ago. I remember I was washing my clothes and me and you was texting and you gave me, it was recent, because you blessed me with the upcoming recaps for PJ. Shout out to PJ. You sent me that and we was talking and I told you, I was like, bro, this is really becoming your signature.
Yeah.
This is really becoming your signature. So how did you find that initial
that
niche,
look?
I guess you can say?
Well, the way I see it is like first person. It's like a video game almost. You know, like when you playing Call of Duty and you first person and you turning and stuff like that. A lot of dudes, or just a lot of people, period, they shoot at an angle and they might just prop it on a stand and leave the camera there and just let everybody else flow. The way I shoot is kind of like a first person mission. So, you know, it makes it feel like you're there. You know what I mean? Like you're watching this go on. When Splash moves, we're moving with him. It's like your eyes. You know what I'm saying? So I'm playing on all the factors that stem from everybody's past, which is nostalgia. You get what I'm saying? Which is, there's, you know, the top three is probably, let's say, nostalgia, violence, and sex, right? Those are like the top three things that sell. But nostalgia is number one because all of us have a history. We all have a past. We all can look at old things and be like, this affected me this way, So when I'm shooting, I just look at everything as a timeless moment. Like this moment could be timeless, right? So if I'm capturing it right now, how would I want to capture it? This is how I want to capture it. So I feel like it's just it's a one-of-one thing that I do. And it's dope that you guys see that because that is my intention. You know what I mean? And Steele, you, Gianni, a lot of dudes, Coolio, have pointed it out to me. You know, like it's a one-of-one type of thing, and that was the goal. You know, to set myself apart.
I think it was for one of Nico's shows or something. That one of the recent ones where he was like going in the car, sitting on top of something, and shouting everybody out.
Gunna.
Yeah. That ended. I don't know why. I think that ending along with the one you had with Son of Sam, and he's like shouting and he's talking, and you like, so you disrespectful. Like, what are you doing? It's like the little things like that makes it funny because I still remember that. Or I would like randomly say like, yo, you disrespectful. Like, what are you doing? And then like at the end of one of the recent ones, I think the Gunna one, it was like of the sunset or the sunrise. It was like, you see what we doing? This, that, and the third. Now we got the view. It's like little things like that, like for me as a consumer, always sticks out with me.
Right, it's something that holds you, that's gonna make you remember the video, you know what I mean? But how
long does it take for you these days to make videos like that? Whether it's a longer piece or those minute clips.
You know what's interesting about those videos? That it's that creative freedom. Nobody's telling me to make that video.
True.
I'm shooting and I'm collecting content, and one day I could just be sitting on my couch and be like, you know what? Boop, 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 boop. I'm gonna put this together real quick. It's like a formula to it. Like I'll take a song that I really love. I don't care about copyright and all that. I take a song that I love, and you know, I'm a big Thug fan, so I've been using Thug recently. He just dropped the album, and I'll just underlay the video with the song that I want to put. I'll mold it around that, and I'll use content pieces that are BTS pieces mostly, not, you know, on stage at shows or things like that. But it's specific because I feel like as a viewer, if you don't know Nico and you watch that video, because it's so inclusive and there's so many things going on, it just captures you for that minute to watch it. Like, what's gonna happen next? Why is he sitting on top of the car? Who are these names? Is this that Thug song that I love? Yeah. Are those girls in the back? Who are those girls? You know what I mean? Like, all of those questions are running through your head while you're watching the video, which hopefully makes you go back and just, you know, watch it again. But I make those videos on the fly. Like, that might take me an hour, bro. Like, it's not, you know, it's real on the fly. Like, I want to just utilize this piece of, and as soon as I capture it, I know when I'm shooting it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is it. Like, this is what I'm gonna use for the next square one, you know, clip or whatever the case may be.
Side note, right? Because this came to mind, man. Obviously, you know, the more you do this, the more people you meet, and you eventually get your road dogs. For sure, and, you know, got DJ here. Sure. How did you meet with DJ and Sam? And how did you guys become this collective, this trio? Yeah. So I see every damn where shooting and capturing this content. So
I met Coolio in high school, but Coolio, DJ is younger than me, so like not too much younger than me, 2 years, you know what I mean? But he was different than all of his peers in just the way of, like, he was careless, you know what I mean? Like, his carelessness. He's like, I was. It was his carelessness that really was like making me be like, why is this kid so comfortable? He's young and he's just so comfortable with us. You know what I mean? Like, talking to us about whatever, wearing ties to school with fucking t-shirts and shit. Like, I was like, who is this kid? And why is he so comfortable, like, being this way? So we created that friendship in high school. And ever since, you know, he was shooting then too. So we were just both like, oh, you shoot, boom, let's do something. Started linking up. He used to come to the crib all the time, got cool with the fam, and we've been road dogs ever since. I met Sam at Hot School Day. I know you know that collective, Hot School in Mount Vernon. There's a collective of DJs, DJ Cranberry, DJ Mighty, shout out to all of them. Yeah, shout out to them. Brimsy, Ando. I was at a Hot School Day and Nico was like, yo, meet my mans. And he just put me on with Sam. And ever since then, we've been cool. Like, ever since that day, like, we met there, he was like, yo, you want some lick? Yeah, for sure. We chopped it up, we talked about things, and then from then on, like, I was just like, yo, pull up, like, let's see what we could do. He's a sick editor, he's really good at editing. And, you know, I had to bring him on the team, like, for sure.
Yeah, and then, because, again, I see you guys a lot.
We
working together. And I gotta commend you guys, man, because I think there's such a cohesiveness to how you guys work. It's like everybody knows what to do and how to do it.
It's because we've all been doing this solo. So it's like, all right, I know my solo role. When I have to do this by myself, I know what it is that how I would go into it. So now it's split 3 ways, or even if it's 2 of us or whatever the case, it's like we know how to balance it out. But it's just different from other collectives because I just know so many photographers, and it's dope that Matt and Gianni work together so much too, because a lot of people are just singular in this business. A lot of photographers and videographers work by themselves. They shoot full-on music videos by themselves. But the way I was looking at it, I was just looking at longevity. I say, yo, how can we take this and make this a brand and make this something cool like that people could look at it and be like, yo, this is a crew of dudes, like young black men, like, let's not get it twisted, like, that came together and created something, a platform for themselves that, you know, I haven't seen anything like this before. In terms of, you know, a team of guys working together, you know, to create something. And, you know, we created the logo and we got the LLC and all that shit done. But the biggest goal for me was in longevity, we want to direct movies. You know what I mean? We want to produce films. We want to produce movies. So you have to work with a team. I have 100%. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the bigger you get in this business, especially, the more people you're gonna have to work with. 100-man crews, 70-man crews, where you have to tell these people to do this and this. So if
I'm learning that because I'm taking a broadcast production class right now.
I know about that. Yeah. When it just gets bigger and bigger, the grander the scale. So when you learn that, it's like if you've been working solo dolo for 10 plus, and then you get thrown into a situation like that, and people are like, oh no, but how about we do it like this? You're gonna be like, no, I always do it my way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So being able to, we come with an idea and we all have to balance our ideas. They'll come with different ideas that I'll be like, oh shit, I didn't even think about it that way.
You have to be incredibly unselfish.
Unselfish. Like
unselfish.
It's completely like taking that ego away, taking all of that away, and being able to be like, all right, how can we sit down as a collective and make this shit happen? You know what I mean? And make the person that we're working with happy as well. You know what I mean? Bring their vision across.
Yeah, you're speaking to the choir because that, honestly, I feel like that aspect, that need to wanting to work with others is what has probably expanded my media career on both ends, because it's like, I know what I can do on my own. It's like if we're talking sports, like, I know what I can do if I just want to be the lead guy and try to do everything on my own. But you get to a point where it's like you have to learn how to play within a team structure. You have to learn what it's like to play with others. So when it came down to, let's say, whether it's like, all right, let me know what it's like to actually work with an editor here, or work with my fellow writers, or building a team, and then eventually learning how to delegate responsibilities, and teaching others how to do what I do, but for them to do it in their own way. It does add years to your career because it's less of a burden on you.
Exactly.
And you can only become smarter.
You learn so much from other people. Like, you know, they bounce ideas off of me, or they teach me new things with it, whether it's editing or whether it's a shooting style, whether, switch your shutters, whatever it is. We learn every time we shoot together, something new. And that's what everything, that's what every life is about. It's just about learning. I want to learn something new every day if I can.
Absolutely.
Especially if it's within my field. That's the goal. So building the team was necessary. Like, I just felt like it was the right thing to do.
How does it feel like becoming someone that folks can truly rely on, whether it's, hey man, for this type of content I want it, or you becoming somebody that folks are just going, hey, I really want to work with you? Because that's the thing, like on a more serious note, when it comes to the rise of photographers and videographers, the reason why folks can say like you guys are now becoming the cream of the crop and the media is because of the fact that like you guys are so unique in a way, and right off the bat, people are gonna rush to you. And the thing about that is you can get fame and you can get notoriety without necessarily being famous or the most notorious.
Exactly.
You got those who could be at the top and have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands and they get their stuff. And you can get people that are at the opposite that may have 2,000, maybe 3,000, whatever. But because people see them work so much, it's like, you're the guy. I want to shoot with you. I want to check out your stuff. And you're becoming somebody that's in that vein. Like, folks want to work with you. Folks want to check out your stuff. How has that been like as of late?
I think it's a trust factor. It's that trust factor with artists or whoever we're working with. Somebody within fitness, if it's somebody within the fashion industry or real estate business, it's that trust. Somebody either came to you and was like, "Oh, you're looking for this? I know this kid that can get that done for you, right? Or this team of people that can get that done for you." And that's word of mouth. But also it's just looking, you can go on IG, you can look at the work. You can go on YouTube and you can look at the work, and the work speaks for itself. But it's really the trust factor, because some people come to me and they're just like, I want you to do what you do. And I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to guide you in any way. I don't care how you edit it. I want it to be how you do it. So that's a blessing for people to be able to trust me that much with their content. You know what I mean? Is beautiful. And just getting into different lanes, like so many different lanes that we're jumping into and we might not post about. You know what I mean? A lot of things we have to keep under wraps. We can't talk about because it's not out yet. It can't be even presented in a short clip form. Like, we can't even put it out. So a lot of things we don't talk about, you know what I mean, that are just going on under wraps, which is also dope.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. When you reach that point in your career, it's like, I can't even tell you.
I can't even talk about it. Like, I can't. So it's awesome. It's really awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
Talking about imagery and visuals in hip hop, right? I think all of us, here watching hip hop throughout our lives, I think there's been waves in which visuals were truly valued, whether it's music videos, and now you're seeing it now with music videos trying to come back, or there's folks taking their social medias so seriously that it's like every picture they take is literally a professional shot.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, we're at that point. We're at that point.
How has it been like seeing that as well? You know, because not only are you creative, you're also a consumer, you're also a fan,
Yeah.
you also see what's happening out there.
Yeah.
How's it been like as well, just seeing visuals becoming more important again in the culture?
It's growing so rapidly every day. Content is definitely the number one source of media right now. Visual content, let's say, because
Yes, that is true.
visual. People want to see what's going on, and like I said, watching data and things like that. That's what shows me.
People want to see. People want to see it right away.
But people also don't want to see the same thing. That's the thing. Like, that's why I always ask artists. My first question might be like, where do you want to drive people? Where do you want to drive them? Do you want to drive them to listen to your album? Do you want to drive them to watch your vlog? Where's the drive going to be? Because then we'll base whatever we're going to do or how we're going to work together around that drive. Because if I'm on Instagram and I'm scrolling through and I see a random artist with a recap of his show, and it's him on stage. I've seen that 1,000 times. What's gonna be, what little intricacies are you gonna have in your video that's gonna draw me to keep watching? You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Get me past the 5 seconds that I saw so far before I scroll past it. So that's what's important now, because everything is moving at such a fast pace. But my whole thing is like, and we're blessed to be in a situation where we can pick and choose who we wanna work with at this point, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to do recaps for shows for the remainder of my career. You get what I'm saying? Just because I feel like it's too repetitive. You know what I mean? It you don't even have any. I don't even know what the word would be, but it loses that essence. You know, even when in the editing process, it's like, I've done this before. What can I do to make this?
There's only so many different angles.
Right, there's
so
only
many different nameplates.
Exactly, and that's
everything.
why,
so many different shots.
That's why I noticed that inclusive, I call it inclusive content, works. I'm taking a video. It might be centered around you, but I'm putting 10 other people in the video. I'm involving them, right? Involving those 10 other people creates a community around this visual now, because these 10 people want to watch themselves. They want to see themselves in that vid. They're like, yo, I'm in the vid? Yeah, you're tagged in the vid. Boom, they're on the vid. Now, their group of 5 friends that they're on Instagram with, sending bullshit to, they're sharing it with them. Now this creates a community. And I'm watching it. I'm watching the data. I'm literally sitting at home watching everybody share the vid. So I'm seeing how many shares it's getting. I'm like, okay, this is because I involve boom, boom, boom. I put this one's name, blah, blah, blah. So the inclusive content, I feel, just works a little bit better. It's like, let's include the people. You know what I mean? Let's include your fans. Let's include the audience, and that changes the dynamic.
And that's such a thing, man, as creators these days, that there's so many different levels to social media management.
So many, bro.
When it comes to growing an audience, that you just have to be incredibly patient.
And consistent.
And consistent. And you have to be willing to work through a lot of numbers just to get it, just to see like, okay, if this got me 50 likes here, how can I stay in that neighborhood?
Right.
And then it comes from, all right, from staying in this neighborhood, how can I move to the next neighborhood? How can I get
How can I grow from here, right? How can I outsource and reach people in new markets, new places?
And that's been something very interesting for me with Foresight, because my approach with sports writing was so different, because I just, at one point, I'm just gonna release my stuff and I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
And Twitter with the retweet button, I was being able to retweet on stuff. It was like the ultimate alley-oop.
Yeah.
So I was just like, all right, I'll post my stuff on Twitter. This is where I get the most viewers. All right, bet. As long as I keep myself on a rotation where you may have seen it 3 to 4 times a day, I'm retweeting.
Consistently,
Yeah, it's like the numbers grow. People, if they haven't seen it initially, get to see it again.
Right.
And with this, it's been so different because I'm playing on a different platform with like Instagram and things like that. And it's like, how do I get these freaking algorithms?
You gotta play the data.
How can I get it?
It's the data game. It's the data game. It's crazy. Like Karen Civil said, I think, what did she say? 30 hashtags, 10, 10, 10, or something like that. There's little intricate little things that you can do to
even
boost.
with that, like you gotta find like the right hashtags.
You have to find the hashtag. Sometimes you might
knowing
need to
the
utilize
right time to post.
Sometimes you might need to utilize a hashtag that's just popular at the moment. Like just throw that shit in there just to get a community of people to watch. But we're playing the data game right now. That's what we're playing. Like to reach new markets isn't as easy as it used to be because of the saturation in the market. You know, like there's just people everywhere doing the same thing. So you have to find ways to stick out. You have to find like I said, new outlets. That's the main thing. Branch out as much as you can. You know, don't stay in the same lane. If you shoot music videos, try and shoot a recap of a restaurant, or try and shoot something for a business in your neighborhood. Whatever the case, reach out. I'll give people a gem. Like I work a regular 9-to-5 job, right? That people don't know about. You know, like they don't even know. Most people don't know I work a regular job. You know what I mean? And
I just know you work. I don't know.
Right, yeah, like exactly. Like, and I've utilized that job to get work within my field. You get what I'm saying? But presenting it a certain way. You get what I'm saying? Because some of these people that come into they're execs, they're, you know, whatever the case may be. If you just come up to them like, oh, I'm a photographer, I'm a videographer, whatever, they're like, all right, cool. You know, I know 80 of y'all. You know, like whatever. This right here changed the game. It's like, oh, what do you do? Okay, I know you work here, but what do you do? Oh, I run a production company. Yeah. Oh, word? Yeah, and it's crazy. We do the same. If I said I'm a photographer, videographer, I'm gonna give you the same product. Yeah. It's just the way the product is presented sometimes. So presenting it, oh, I have a production company. Yes, we have this. Yes, we do this. We have merch. We do. So it's the branding, you know, the name behind it. So
hey, yo, isn't it fire when you elevator pitch? Yo, I've been bodying the elevator pitch, bro.
I know you got to get on it because it's alignment. You know, certain things happen. I believe everything happens for a reason. So if you in the moment, you either gonna let fear take over and let that opportunity walk away, or you're just gonna be like, fuck it, like let me just take the chance.
The best analogy I always use for it, well, the best example is I always tell people, when you think about an elevator pitch, you think about it from the standpoint of, I may have, let's say 15 seconds. 15. Maybe. I always say you want to go and try to maximize those 10 to 15 seconds. If you're lucky, that 15 will turn into 30 seconds.
Right.
If you're lucky, it'll turn into a minute.
Yeah.
If you're luckier, you go into 2 minutes.
Right.
If you get the luckiest, you might mess around and go, holy crap, we spoke for 15 minutes.
Yeah, like we were
chatting. And then it goes beyond just, you know, I'll use to get in the music business for the main example for what I've been experiencing lately. It goes from at first it's like, yo, talk to my man, like, I got you. It goes from that to, yo, I'll personally give you my email.
Right.
And then if I get lucky, it's like, yo, I'll give you the email and the number. Yo, what you doing? And it all is based on that first part. Yeah. I'm not gonna give you my tricks. Because there's some stuff that helped me maximize it.
Right.
But it's always that thought for me. Even if I just get 15, if that 15 seconds helps me get a contact for you, that's lovely. If I get longer, I'm just that nice with it. Because it's gonna help us lead the way.
Yeah. What's crazy about what you guys are doing is like, for me, if I'm in an elevator and I gotta make my pitch or whatever, half my job is done. I have a camera around my shoulder. You know what the vibe is. You know what I mean? You know what I'm about to approach you and say.
Oh, I have our Instagram ready.
Oh, I already know, but I'm saying you're just approaching them. Yeah. So they're like, they don't know what to expect. So for you to be able to break them down and be like, you know, this is what we do. This is our outlet. This is our platform, and solidify deals, or you know. Get into these events and stuff like that, because I know how y'all are treated. It's sick, bro.
Right.
It's sick, bro. Like it's sick.
It helps though, man. It's just taking advantage of that. And before we conclude, man, what are some of your biggest goals? What are some of your biggest goals, whether it's with your career, whether it's in life? What are some of your biggest goals for G?
The biggest goal is to inspire. So, and when I say that, it's not to be cliche. It's like we're a collective of young men who started a production company. A production company out of the 914. So, it's the first of its kind. There's nothing else like it, and for other young kids to just be able to see us doing it, it gives them that freedom, you know, like to be like, okay, this is possible. I could do this. I can get into this lane, and it's not I'm just behind the scenes, just shooting for people. Nah, we have a presence. Like you said, we low key the rock stars of this, you know, of this business right now, because without us, nobody's seeing you. So that's one of the main, like that's the biggest goal. But you know, we're getting into short films right now. We're shooting 2 short films right now. In the process of doing that, and you know, we want to be directors. We want to be the next Spike Lee. We want to be the next Ryan Coogler's. So, and shout out to those guys. But that's the goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, start making content you could pitch, play at festivals.
Exactly.
I see the vision. And I believe in you guys.
Thank you, bro.
Man, appreciate you coming on the show, bro. Latest episode of The Punch-In with Jihad. Definitely make sure you check him out. Check out Square One Productions, man. As always. This is Arden talking to you, hosting a new episode, coming live from New Rochelle, New York.
Yes, sir.
Talk to you guys later. Peace.